In the words of the movie Godzilla, let them fight.
Let them fight. The breakdown starts now. I'd call it breaking news, but it feels like breaking up news. I don't know if it's a reality TV show or our politics, but today's been a wild ride.
Look, I mean, we have seen a lot of insane shit out of Donald Trump and Elon Musk collectively and separately. But I have to say, today was on the upper edge of the high boundary of the crazy shit we've seen from Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It was so nuts. It was such a endless shit show of cat fighting, slap fighting. I mean, this was like there's I've rarely seen anything in American politics like this. And it's fun and funny to watch Trump and Elon tear each other into shreds. But it also should be a big lesson for everybody out there. This guy's not invulnerable. Trump is absolutely shitting himself tonight, everybody, because he is at war with the richest man in the world who owns the social media platform that he uses to control his base.
Wait, Rick. I'm thinking a lot of people might just be coming online right now and have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, because today, this was a moment of like, I will always remember where I was the minute I read that first tweet. But for some people, they haven't even read the first tweet, the first truth.
Right. So many of you have normal lives and you're not chronically online like we are. And you haven't seen that, Elon Musk accused Donald Trump of being on the Epstein list.
Wait.
Donald Trump threatened to cancel Elon Musk's contracts. Elon Musk has retweeted Ian Miles Chong, who believes that the 45th Amendment or the 25th Amendment should remove.
Please,
Trump.
no spoilers.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have our Gen Z
special Gen Z correspondent.
Today, I'm really here more as a celebrity gossip correspondent. That's what I would
Perfect.
say. Because I think that's the only way we can categorize what we saw today. So,
indeed, Kate, take it away.
Take it away.
Tell folks
Sure.
the cavalcade of delight.
A lot happened today, starting really actually Wednesday. So let's take it from the very top. 1:30 in the afternoon, or starting Tuesday, I'm sorry. Elon Musk finally comes out with it and calls the big, beautiful bill an outrageous, pork-filled, disgusting abomination. Later that afternoon, he tweets that we should fire all the politicians who voted for it and betrayed the American people. You think that might be the end, but then yesterday, the next day, Elon goes full resist lib, is tweeting, call your senator, call your congressman, bankrupting America is not okay, kill the bill. This could be a Lincoln Project tweet. As could this, I would say.
I'm kind of jealous we didn't think about that one, honestly.
I did. Okay, if you go back to Blue Sky, I was like, okay, guys, Kill Bill is right there. We've got, like, why are we calling it the murder bill when we could call it the Kill Bill? It rhymes. I love a good rhyme.
Oh, yeah.
And but leave it to Elon to, I don't know if he's defecting. I don't know where he's going. I don't know if he's getting deported, but I love what he's doing here.
So now that brings us to today. The festivities begin at 11:20 a.m. When Elon digs up a 2013 tweet from Donald Trump.
There's always a tweet.
Shitting on the there it really is.
Yeah,
the Republicans of the era for wanting to raise the debt ceiling. Wise words, he says. Now, the tension is brewing. Where is Trump? Well, he hasn't been in front of a camera yet today until 11:58 a.m. A reporter finally asks Trump about Elon's tweets for the first time. Now, this was like sort of a long ramble, but we've cut it down into 2 minutes for you, and you should see it all because Elon does go point by point throughout the day and get pissed about every individual thing he says. So let's take a look.
The criticism that I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen, regarding Elon Musk and your big, beautiful bill, what's your reaction to that? Do you think it in any way hurts passage in the Senate, which of course what is you're seeking?
Well, look, I've always liked Elon, and it's always very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and which was a lot of money for electric vehicles, and they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles, and they want us to pay billions of dollars in subsidy. And Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. That's been, I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning. For a long time, you saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, "Do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup." But he said, "No, I don't think so," which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is, so you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. Elon endorsed me very strongly. He actually went up in campaign for me. I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But
from the woke mind virus to Trump derangement syndrome, they keep having to make up ailments to categorize people.
Just any initial
As
thoughts
opposed
on
to
that?
just regular old tertiary syphilis.
So, this press conference happens right around the Trump derangement syndrome comment was the last thing. About 10 minutes passes until 12:19 p.m. Elon finally, whatever.
Actually,
Whatever.
Not whatever. Not
if
whatever.
she doesn't do her assignment, I can't do mine. That's that energy there.
Not whatever. He's furious. This is in response. Someone had clipped the part about Elon's mad about the EV incentives. He says you either get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. I think that to me, that's vaguely fat phobic, but we're just going to move on. 12:20 p.m. Ashley St. Clair weighs in. This is Elon's 100
Baby mama. Baby mama alert.
12:25 p.m. Another response. He's breaking it down. Trump's like, Elon knew what was in the bill. Elon's like, false. I did not know what was in the bill. Now, time for a little brief side beef intermission because Elon is going scorched earth on everyone here. At 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Charlie Kirk goes live on Real America's Voice with Stephen Miller. And it's clear that Elon Musk has tuned in. Why? We'll come back to that. At 12:44 p.m., Elon quotes someone who pulled a ton of old Trump tweets about the deficit and all of this stuff. Now, you may recall in Trump's presser him saying that he would have won without Elon. Well, at 12:46 p.m., Elon Musk, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Such ingratitude. Now,
Kate, I'm starting to picture we need you against one of those red string crime walls with all of these.
Yeah. So now, 12:59 p.m., Big Tech Alert reports Elon Musk has unfollowed Stephen Miller. Now, why would that happen? I'm wondering why that would happen. Well, it just so happens that also at 12:58 p.m. in the Charlie Kirk Show stream, Stephen Miller says this.
You can acknowledge all of that, and then if you want to be an even greater fiscal hawk, say, but I'd like to cut more. But to pretend this bill includes pork, there's no pork in the bill. It's been public for weeks. And the only provisions you will find in the bill are campaign promises.
Oh, he's
Ooh.
trying so hard.
Things are getting Laura Loomer what? Spicy. Why am I bringing Laura Loomer into this? We will come back to that.
Oh,
129
National Security
PM.
Advisor Laura Loomer.
Elon Musk digs up another old Trump tweet. No member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if our country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed. 1:30 p.m. Laura Loomer tweets. It's heating up. This is a battle for the ages. The most powerful man in the world versus the richest man in the world. We will come back to this one shortly. So Elon is basically crying at this point. He's home. You were supposed to be my friend. Remember this? Remember when we were selling Teslas in front of the White House together?
He soon realizes Trump has no friends.
None.
He's still listening to the Charlie Kirk show, and the Charlie Kirk show wraps up right around 2:00, at which time Elon has unfollowed Charlie Kirk. So clearly he was like watching it looking for allies, and then ended up just being like, fuck, what? They all hate me. They love the bill more than they love me. 1:57 p.m. Elon creates a poll proposing a new political party.
Do it, Elon.
I voted because I wanted to see the results.
Me too.
What did you guys vote?
Hell yeah.
I voted, yeah.
Well, so remember Laura Loomer's tweet just from a couple minutes ago back there? Well, it prompted Elon to give one of the shadiest tweets of the day. This is a response to that Laura Loomer tweet. Oh, and some food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 plus years.
With bionic body parts? 40 years.
Oh, no, that's without the bionic body parts. He fully plans to upload himself to the cloud at some point soon.
He probably already has. This is a simulation.
Now, at this point, we still have not heard from Trump. He hasn't tweeted anything. At this point, Trump is physically on top of Susie Wiles, wrestling the phone out there. She's trying to get it from him. They're begging this man, please don't tweet. Please don't tweet. He pries it from her grasp. 2:37 p.m. Trump tweets back to back in the span of 1 minute. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave, and he just went crazy. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was surprised that Biden didn't do it. The tea, the shade. 9 minutes.
So much shade.
9 minutes past, Rick.
So
Total
much
silence.
shade.
Total silence. Elon wipes the tears from his face. He finally picks up his phone again to tweet. Such an obvious lie. So sad.
Shout out to anybody who's hearing this for the first time, because this is a lot to take in.
It's really just imagine living this in real time the way I did and having to chronicle it in slides. So now, another 20 minutes or so pass. Elon has moved from the depression phase to the anger phase. He picks up his phone, he's pacing around his house. He's like, you know what? And finally, he drops the bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day.
This is where I had to interrupt people's work days. I try to respect my friends who aren't totally into politics, but this was the one where I was like, oh, no, everyone's getting a text right now.
So now,
okay, guys, just to interrupt for a second, I have a Trump world source who said the meeting is out of control. My God,
more.
Let's put it this way. I joked earlier that Kristi Noem should send Elon Musk to CCOT. They're thinking about it.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second.
Check his immigration status.
He's a national security risk at this
point. They're going to deport Elon.
He's so unhinged. He's threatening to stop rockets and things that are already in process. He's a national security threat. No due process. Remember how it was all due process? Due process. Get him out
I
of
want to
here.
emphasize too, as many tweets are in this slide deck, we would be here all day if I had included literally every single one of them. And he did tweet one implying that basically if Trump got rid of him and his contracts, that everyone on the ISS, on the International
Would
Space, die. So we're so close to the end of this saga, at least for now. I'm not sure if either of them have tweeted since we've gone live here, but this happens at 3:10 p.m. Nearly an hour passes. Where is Trump? Susie has taken his phone back. He's please give it to me. Please give it to me. She threw it in the White House Rose Garden. He can't find it. Finally, a staffer picks it up and posts something sort of like vaguely vetted, like this is good for Trump tweet. I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago, and then launches into some bullshit about how great the bill is. Almost immediately, 4:11 p.m., Elon responds, co-signing an Ian Miles Chong tweet suggesting that Trump be impeached and J.D. Vance become the president. 15 minutes later, 4:26 p.m., Elon finally admits that the Trump tariffs are stupid and say they will cause a recession in the second half of this year. And who popularized that piece of information?
Include the fact that Donald Trump's plans for the economy would accelerate inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year.
Increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. Increase inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year.
A recession on by the middle of next year.
To a recession by the middle of next year. Recession by the middle of next year. Recession by the middle of next year. A recession by the middle of next year.
You know that phrase?
Elon
we could have had the smart lady, but all the
Exactly.
truck nuts people had to vote for Trump.
Elon Musk, welcome to the resistance. Thank you.
Yeah, he's woke.
Now
He's
you're all
woke
caught
now.
up.
Yeah. Kate, that was fantastic. I am both stunned and exhilarated because this is a huge opportunity for the Democratic Party. It feels terrible in many ways because it's like, oh, if these two men weren't fighting when they were supposed to be making America great again, maybe we would actually have a fighting chance as a country. And so it's insane to me because they're constantly talking about DEI this, DEI that, but you clearly see what happens when they put someone who is unfit, somebody who's unhinged in a position of power. This is what they do with it. Like, it's insane to me.
So before I hop out, I will ask you guys what you think. You know, one, does this stick? And who really wins the fight? Like, is this the beginning of the end for, you know, the Trump fandom with Elon Musk?
I have a thought on this.
Come back,
fine.
Rick. There
Okay.
you are.
Sure.
No thoughts for you.
No thoughts for you. I have a thought on this. Elon actually, they think it's a political risk. It's an existential risk. I'll give you the reasons why. First off, Elon is fucking nuts. He doesn't care. He gives no fucks. They could kill every program he's got with NASA and Elon would still be the richest motherfucker in the world. But he represents an existential political risk for Trump because when he bought Twitter, he changed the back end of the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
The algo itself is one thing, but the controls he uses in the back of it to boost Trump content, to boost alt-right content, to boost white nationalist content, feeds Trump's base the conspiracy drip they need every minute of the day. It constantly flows. There are two normative forces in MAGA, Fox News and Twitter. If he decided to stop letting Trump's bot armies do what they do, which would be better for the platform, and he stopped boosting all of Trump and Trump-related content, it would shatter MAGA's image of itself. It would break their brains immediately. And I think if he gets pissed off enough, that's what's going to happen. I think if he gets pissed off enough, and I did very helpfully today, folks, if you look on my Substack or on YouTube, you'll find I did a video today called An Open Video to a Letter to Elon Musk, how Elon could take revenge on Trump. I broke it down. There is a lot of ways Elon Musk can fuck Trump over. And frankly, if Elon tomorrow said, I'm going to go up and run digital and TV ads in 25 congressional districts about the big, beautiful bill, and those people all knew that if they voted for it when it came back to the House, that Elon would be there to spend 5, 10, $20 million against them. I promise you that bill will go down in flames. And if that bill goes down, Trump is in a world of shit. Because those billionaires that loved him so much, they did it for one reason: this fucking bill. Elon's got all the guns in this fight. What has Trump got? He's got Truth Social, the dollar store of social media platforms. I mean, this is absolutely Elon's fight to lose.
Yeah, this is what happens when unhinged meets even more unhinged. And this particular brand of unhinged, Elon's brand, has fuck you money and has decided to say fuck you with it. He is like, this is like, I just saw Sinners for the first time, but I've always been into vampire lore. This is why you don't invite vampires into your house. This idea somehow that they were going to be able to control this man is absolutely insane. And yes, maybe they don't need his money right now, but he has all of our data. Like, this is the thing that I keep coming back to. When this was originally this fight about, oh, big tech and what big tech is going to invade our privacy. Well, Elon's been in, he's got the stuff, he's got the goods, and he's coming out with this. And so this is why I say that he's a national security threat. When I'm thinking of existential threat, I'm thinking for the whole country itself. And so a lot of people are talking like, oh, will the Democrats take him back? But he's not even looking at that. He's looking at creating this, I don't know, third party. So this is something somebody in the chat asked, is this
God bless you, Elon, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, somebody in the chat asked, is this a distraction for something? And I like, well, the Palantir story was a pretty big story that happened over the week, and everybody.
By the way, I don't often like praise MAGA for getting it. They got it. Even the MAGA folks were like, I don't want anybody in the government, even people I think I trust, out there with all of my personal data, much less Peter fucking Thiel and Palantir. And they actually were very strongly against this gigantic Trump database of all your information, America, merged with Palantir's database of all your information, health stuff, financial stuff, your tax records, your bank records, your health records, your social media records, all of it merged together into a super file.
And remember, for the women out there,
like I said, they were like, no.
If you remember back when we were concerned about there's period tracking apps. And so people were concerned, like, hey, maybe you want to delete that app because in the future they might be able to track that and be able to figure out whether you were pregnant and decided to abort a pregnancy. And people thought that was a little crazy to be fearful of those things. Well, now that they're merging that data, hey, suburban moms, pay attention. He's coming after your daughters.
Yeah, it is. It is really, look, Trump needed a bunch of distractions this week because he got completely humiliated by Ukraine. Ukraine, for all that kabuki dance they did in the Oval Office of trying to embarrass him with Rubio and Vance and Trump, Zelensky just kept his mouth shut. When they said you have no cards, well, he unleashed the freaking cards this weekend and knocked out a third of the Russians' strategic bomber force. Billions of dollars of damage with like $600,000 worth of drones. And they wouldn't tell Trump because they knew Trump would tell Putin. It embarrassed the hell out of Trump. The Iranians are going to get nuclear weapons because the new Trump deal lets them continue to enrich uranium, unlike the Obama deal, which forbade it. Weird. And at the end of the day, he had a lot of hate this week coming at him. He had a lot of problems. The big, beautiful bill had problems before Elon went off the reservation. This is a really great day because Trump tried to distract from all these other crises and thought this was going to be a fight he could win. And he's getting absolutely wrecked on it.
Well, anybody who cares about the deficit didn't need Elon to speak on it, but the fact that he did, the fact that he was supposed to be the ally, the fact that he was there the entire time propping Trump up, And now that he is come out against it, all of these little bros that are on YouTube in the manosphere who love Elon and think that Elon is gospel are now having to have a time of reflection, a period.
They really are wondering, like, how do you cut this? How do you cut this? How do you cut this cake? You know, a lot of them absolutely love Trump. A lot of them think that Elon is the future, and there's just nothing else. There's just nothing else. There's no easy out for them. By the way, the Epstein stuff is the other thing I think that Elon really dropped the biggest nuke he could, because where did Pizzagate emerge? Where did all these bullshit, Democrats are pedophiles conspiracies emerge? On Twitter. All of them on Twitter. They were the petri dish, the feeding ground for all these stupid conspiracies. And at this point, Elon has flipped the script on that and basically said the words that every MAGA wanted to hear attached to Joe Biden. But he said them to Trump.
Yes.
That Trump is in the Epstein files. That is driving Trump crazy. And I promise you, this aspect of Twitter that was always a feeder mechanism for the conspiracy thing on the right has suddenly, the weaponization of it has turned in a different direction. It is not, they are not happy campers at the White House right now.
You can't come back from this.
By the way, I want to read the AP's line that you just have to hear this. Donald Trump and Elon Musk's alliance took off like one of SpaceX's rockets. It was supercharged and soared high, and then it blew up.
It's accurate. That's an accurate description of what just happened. I like to put these things in context because it was when I saw the Epstein tweet that I was like, oh, okay, this relationship is actually over. In any relationship, any fight with somebody, there's the one thing that you can say that will end it all. And you'll often hold back because you're like, you know what? I want to preserve this relationship. I want to be able to make up in the future. And so you don't say it. You don't drop that bomb. And so once he did it, this is the thing.
I slept with your sister, or that.
Exactly. That it's that. And you can't undo this. You can't come back from this. And so the have a nice day, the fact that he punctuated it with something that is a Trumpism as well, because Trump loves to end things with "Have a nice day."
Thank you for your attention on this matter.
Exactly, and so it's a beautiful thing to see them fight. Let them fight.
I couldn't be happier to watch this absolute shit show, and I think there's a real moment here where late tonight, Elon's going to be down in the K-hole and his anger will rise and shit's going to get even crazier. They're going to try to keep Trump off Truth Social. But I mean, again, all the jokes about keeping his phone away from him, but Trump, I promise you, and like I said, and I'm hearing from a source, this meeting is apparently off the rails, which, you know what? There's nothing I want more than to watch this blow up further, and it's going to.
Oh yeah, this also does not end here. That being said, I want to come back to talking about the bill because all of these things do have consequences for real people's lives, even though Joni Ernst, for some reason, doesn't think there are actual consequences because we're all going to die, of course. As she said, there's only two things are true, right? It's death and taxes, unless you're a billionaire. Then and
Donald Trump is the second is optional for Trump so far.
Yeah. So we're supposed to elect people who actually give a shit about serving their constituents. Yeah. And Marjorie,
she ain't it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, what we're watching right now is a bunch of people who are in it for themselves. And so Joni Ernst said what she said. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't even bother to read the bill, which is insanity, because that is her actual job to do. And so missed the portions about AI. And I know a lot of people who are really freaking out about this
Oh, yeah.
AI stuff, because who knows what AI can do in 10 years? That's true.
Listen, if I were a betting man, I would bet that was in there at the behest of Sam Altman and OpenAI and other people, and that they would be very happy if there was no regulation on AI for 10 years, but the rest of America should be scared shitless about that idea. I mean, crazy levels.
Well,
But,
especially thinking
I'm
about
sorry,
where
but
deepfakes.
Marge, it's her one fucking job is to read the bill.
Mhm.
It's her one job. It's
Right.
her one job.
The AI stuff
And
should
if she
scare
didn't,
everybody, because
she's
when we
fool.
think about the disinformation that is being turbocharged by AI, just in this election alone, in future elections, I've seen deep fakes now that I was like, what? I actually had people commenting on videos of mine thinking that I'm AI. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I am AI. Maybe I'm not. I don't even know anymore. What's real? And that is what they're trying to do, is make us question every bit of
Right.
information that we receive. And so the fact that AI can do this on a scale that makes it almost impossible to fact check, and even if you fact check, you have to fact check the fact check. They're trying
Right.
to break our democracy. And so that little provision in the bill should be yet another thing that kills the bill, because AI is coming for all of us. And Lord, you can't even talk about what jobs will be left over when AI is doing it all. So
Look, we
eyes on the
are,
prize.
yeah, we are in a moment on this bill that I think it's really important to recognize that nobody in Congress has an excuse for saying, "Oh, I didn't read the bill." What, me? I didn't read the bill. Why would I read the bill? It doesn't work that way, people. That's not how any of this works. And if you think you can get away with saying you didn't read the bill, and that people are going to go, "Oh yeah, of course, obviously so and so wouldn't have read that," you're a fool. The ads write themselves in this thing. People are going to get absolutely raked over the coals if they say they didn't read the bill.
Yeah, and speaking of AI can actually help people read the bill. It can create summaries. It can pull out
Sure.
things that might be dangerous to democracy or to their constituents. So if they're talking about wanting to create a future where people actually are free and have freedom, but aren't even willing to look at bills that might restrict or threaten those freedoms, knowing that we have the tools that we can actually use to do it, it's like, come on.
Call me crazy, but yeah, I'd prefer that. I prefer that you actually do your effing job if you're a member of Congress. That'd be nice, right?
Could be. Very great. Oh yeah, there's still there's the Supreme. There is so much that we haven't been able to cover because there's so much going on. We'd almost have to be live 24/7.
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah, guys. There's not enough other energy drinks in the world for me to be able to do that, people. But
number 3 today, I've been down to like 1 or 2, and I'm on number 3 today because I don't take ketamine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on Celsius right now. Plenty of Celsius. But with communities all over are rising up against ICE agents terrorizing their communities, and that terrorism is increasing because they're increasing the quotas. I think they're trying to get the quota up to, I don't know, 3,000 a day or something insane. And so, yeah, the morale booster that Stephen Miller is.
Stephen Miller has, he went over there and screamed at them and ordered them to pick up the pace and to, get them on the train car faster and all that shit. There is a point where you saw San Diego folks like absolutely confronting these people peacefully. Mm-hmm. You're seeing an increasing number of folks who are like, take off your mask. Mm-hmm. Why don't you have a name tag? Or, in Congressman Nadler's office this week, they burst in and attacked the staff, knocked the staff around, and they were told, do you have a warrant? And they said, we don't need a warrant. We're federal officers. That's when you need a fucking warrant, because you're a federal officer. This whole thing is accelerating, and they're going to depend on, to a great degree,
on people being in too much shock to respond,
Mhm.
but they are definitely starting to push back.
Yeah,
Definitely.
people are fed up, and we're moving closer to Trump's little military parade on his birthday, which apparently he's going to have Reagan Airport DCA shut down so he can do whatever it is that one does during a military parade. But the
I
fact
got nothing. I
but
got nothing.
Absolutely.
Missile parade.
Yeah, but I think it's really important right now for us to cut through the chaos and to keep our eyes on the prize and understand that as they're falling apart, it's important for anybody who's pro-democracy to get the messaging on this right. And I don't know if we wanted to talk about what Democrats are doing as far as messaging, but apparently they're taking a look at the syntax of young men. What the fuck?
You know, I did a enemies list the other day about this. And I just want to say this to my Democratic friends about trying to spend $20 million to talk to men. Are you out of your fucking minds? Speak English to them. Directly address them. Don't act like they're a hostile country. Don't go in and say to working class men, why, when we train you to be holistic solar panel massage installers, you'll be happier. No. Talk to them about real shit in their lives. You'd be better off researching what's actually affecting them. You know why African American young men and Hispanic young men went over to Trump? It's because Democrats weren't talking about anything they cared about. They weren't talking to them about their jobs or their lives or their futures. They were just randomly, trying to say, well, read my climate change plan and it'll be great for you. They're so disconnected. It makes my brain ache, Maya. It makes me want to have an aneurysm because it's so maddeningly dumb.
Well, this is the kind of thing where I'm like, guys, this is not hard. This isn't rocket science.
No.
I've had several conversations. I was in an MMA gym the other day, and there was
Now there's a beginning of a good story.
I was checking out a new boxing gym, and it was also an MMA gym. And the energy in there, the vibe in there, very different than the fun cardio box gym that I usually go to. And right after that, I had a conversation with Alex Barrios from
sure.
Yeah. And he's a former boxer, and we were talking about this problem with talking to young men. And he's like, because everybody's using this language that doesn't speak to them, but they're not listening. I think that's more the thing. It's like, why aren't we examining the fact that we're not listening? And what does listening sound like? And what does empathy sound like? And to be able to have a conversation that isn't just one-sided. Democrats are constantly talking at people when we're in a situation right now where we actually have time to listen, because there's so much chaos going on around right now that trying to cut through it, maybe now's the time to pause and say, hey, young men, we actually want to listen. We want to know, what do you feel about your future needs to change so that you can thrive? And that's it. And just leave it at that. It doesn't have to be about convincing people of anything. It doesn't have to be like trying to figure out what syntax meant. What?
It's insanity.
Give me $20 million. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Right? Oh, all right. Well, America, we can't promise you that we're not going to wake up to a nuclear attack tomorrow from Elon's secret volcano missile base, or watch Donald Trump run naked across the White House lawn tomorrow morning in anger and rage because Susie won't give him his phone back. But it's going to be a hell of a weekend.
Yeah,
you know, like the ketamine, the Elon's ketamine guy is like, no, I said a pound, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, I think at this point that somebody might just try to shut down Twitter or shut down Truth Social entirely. Like, this is like where they're unplugging things, going, you know what? Everybody needs a timeout, just a quick timeout, and we'll come back on Monday refreshed. But we know that's not gonna happen. So everybody, prepare yourselves. Grab a Celsius. It's an energy drink for everybody who's asking in the chat. I drink it in the morning before my boxing workout.
This is my energy drink.
Yeah. Diet Coke.
Oh, it even says bro. It even says bro.
Is that what it says on the side? That's hilarious. That must be that syntax that the young men like.
Why, yes. Hello, fellow kids.
Hello, bro. I've heard there are some young men here. Oh my God. Okay. I also thought the can said blow. I'm not going to touch it. Coke.
Yep. Let's just.
I love
All
you
right,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks for keeping us sane. We hope we keep you sane.
Do we have an
shout
ad
out-
to go out with?
Do we?
Taco.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk. We talked about it. Taco about it.
Taco. It's time to taco ourselves into the horizon and see y'all next week.
It's amazing. Some people still think Donald Trump knows how to negotiate, that he's a deal maker. But really, he's a chicken. Wall Street figured it out. When Trump goes hard on something, just bet on the dip. Wait for Trump to blink. Then cash in on the rebound. Same trade every time. It's the taco trade because Trump always chickens out. He talks a big game on tariffs, then backs down. Over and over. He'll hurt American businesses, farms, and workers playing his games. But every time it comes down to it, he chickens out. Like a baby. Like a dog. Every single time. Trump always chickens out. He's not a deal maker. He's not a negotiator. He's a taco.
This ad was generated in whole or substantially by artificial intelligence.